Krabi, I then took a boat over to the Phi Phi Islands, which were absolutely beautiful and definitely one that you need to visit. Obviously, they're quite famous, so because of this, they are very busy. I went towards the end of March back in 2023, and it wasn't too bad. But yeah, the boat trips were just absolutely packed. If you go in higher season, then prepare for it to be a lot busier than this, especially in 2026. I stayed on the island for 3 nights, which I think was the perfect amount of time for me. Other than the day trips to different beaches and islands and drinking, there isn't that much more to do, to be honest. The day trips were very busy and not the cheapest, but they were really cool and definitely worth doing. The beaches were unreal and we got to do some snorkeling as well, which was pretty cool. I did really enjoy Phi Phi, but it's definitely more of a party place, so it's probably not for everybody. So I think 3 nights was definitely the perfect amount of time for me. I also got really sick on the last day, which seemed like food poisoning. So yeah, after this I was 100% ready to leave and go somewhere a bit more relaxing. I met quite a lot of other people that also got sick on Phi Phi as well. And I'm quite cautious with food and water, and I was really sick, definitely one of the worst bugs I had on my trip. So just wanted to be a bit cautious of. So in search of a bit more peace and quiet, I then headed over to Koh Lanta, which was probably one of the best decisions I've ever made, and it ended up being one of my favourite islands in Thailand. It was much more relaxing and the perfect place for me to recover from my illness. The island itself is a lot quieter than Phi Phi and a lot more undeveloped. You'll probably need a motorbike to get around, to be honest, unless you want to spend a lot of money on tuk-tuks. So once I'd recovered, I spent a few days riding around Koh Lanta and exploring the island. There weren't really that many backpackers even on the island, and there was only 1 or 2 hostels, I think. But yeah, this was back in 2023, so I'm not too sure what it's like now. But this was exactly what I was looking for, and if you want to escape the crowds, then Koh Lanta is definitely a good place for that. Koh Lanta was such a good island for riding a scooter around. There was so many viewpoints and restaurants to stop at, including this one where I realised there was a huge snake directly above my head whilst I was eating my dinner. So yeah, Koh Lanta was definitely one of my favourite islands that I went to in Thailand, and I'd be more than happy to go back again in the future. After Koh Lanta, I headed back to the mainland where Krabi is and took a bus to Surat Thani. There isn't really anything to do in Surat Thani, but I had a great night nonetheless. I got some street food at one of the night markets and then sat in a bar with some locals for a few hours and had a few beers. I stayed the night in Surat Thani, and then the next day I took the speedboat over to Koh Tao. Another one of my favourite islands in Thailand is Koh Tao. I spent about just over a week, I think, on Koh Tao, spread across 2 visits. It has pretty much everything you could possibly want from an island. It has amazing beaches, places to relax. Then it also has really good nightlife, night markets, clubs, bars, restaurants. Obviously it can get a bit busy, especially in the main areas, but this was back in 2023 and yeah, it wasn't too bad then. But I have seen a few videos recently in 2026 and it does look considerably busier now. But it is quite a big island, and if you do get fed up with the crowds, I went to a lot of places in more remote areas of the island that had pretty much nobody there. If you're into hiking, there's also lots of different viewpoints on Koh Tao. This was one of the best ones I did, and it had a little bar at the top, which was really cool. Koh Tao is also really popular with scuba diving, and it's one of the most famous places, probably in the world, to get PADI certified. I did my open water course on Koh Tao over 3 days, which was definitely one of the best things I've ever done in my life. I'd never tried scuba diving before, so it was quite difficult, especially at first. But once you get the hang of it, it's really fun. I went with a company called Isla Tortuga, who were amazing, and I definitely recommend you going with them. Koh Tao is also one of the cheapest places in the world to do your paddy open water. I think I paid around £300 in total, and this also included my accommodation. After this, I then took the boat over to another amazing island in Thailand, Koh Phangan. Definitely another one of the more party-focused islands in Thailand, but yeah, I had an amazing time. I think I stayed for around a week in total, spread across a few different areas. I also somehow managed to plan all of this around the full moon parties, which to this day I still don't really know how I managed to do that, considering I'd already been travelling for about 2 months before this. The island is literally full of parties pretty much everywhere in all different locations, especially quite a few secret ones, which I'm not going to say the name of. This is the best one that I went to. It was called the Jungle Experience, and it was the night before the full moon party. After a crazy few days on Koh Phangan, it was definitely time to relax, so me and my mates headed back to Koh Tao for a few days. And after spending some more time on Koh Tao, I then travelled back to Bangkok before flying out to the Philippines.